Spidey and his amazing friends. Dino Disaster. Adapted by Steve Balin. Based on the episode Green Goblin's Dino Disaster, written by Mike Kubet, illustrated by Premise Entertainment. On a sunny morning, a group of people gather in the zoo to meet up with Spidey and his amazing friend Reptil. Thanks for coming to the zoo today so we can teach you all about my favorite animals. Reptil says, "Dinosaurs!" The crowd cheers. They're excited to hear what Reptil has to say. But before we get started, does anyone want to see Reptil turn into a dinosaur? Spidey asks. The crowd cheers again. Reptil's hands and feet turn into claws and he grows a tail. I haven't totally turned into a dinosaur yet, Reptil says. But before I do, let's find out which dinosaurs are your favorites. As people call out the names of their favorite dinosaurs, Spidey hears someone nearby shout, "Oh no you don't! Come out, you rascal!" It's the zookeeper, Ms. Kamathi. Thwipping a web, Spidey swings over to Ms. Kamathi. "Is everything all right?" the web slinger asks. "Not exactly," she says. "My squirrel friend here seems to like the taste of bird food." Spidey takes a peanut from Ms. Kamathi, tosses it in the air, and thwips a web at it. The web propels the peanut into the birdhouse and over a tree branch. The peanut dangles in front of the squirrel. The squirrel leaves the bird feeder and follows the peanut as Spidey pulls the web toward him. In a few seconds, the squirrel leaps onto Spidey and takes the peanut. "Thank you, Spidey," Ms. Kamathi says. Spidey swings back to Reptil just as his friend says, "So now that we know who everyone's favorite dino is, I guess it's time to turn into a real, actual dinosaur." But before Reptil can complete his transformation, they hear thud, thud, thud. Then something bashes through the zoo wall. It's a dinosaur? The crowd runs away as Reptil says, "That is not a real dinosaur." "It's Green Goblin's robot dinosaur," Spidey says. "That's right," Green Goblin replies as the huge green and purple robot dinosaur turns toward the heroes. Gobby is sitting in the control booth, right in the dino's belly. Gobby lets out a cackle as he gloats. "This is my new improved T-Rex 3000. I put in all the latest features, including this nifty tail basher." Gobby laughs as he presses a button on the controls of the T-Rex 3000. The mechanical dinosaur raises its tail, then swings it toward the ground, right where Spidey and Reptil are standing. Smash! Spidey and Reptil leap out of the way before they become the flattest superheroes in the city. "We have to stop him," Spidey says. But Gobby has other tricks up his green sleeve. "If I press this button, my T-Rex will automatically target anyone I want it to," Gobby says. Gobby tries to flatten Spidey and Reptil with his dinosaur's tail once again, and once again the heroes escape. "Whoa, that dino robot is tricky," Reptil says. "Of course it is," Gobby boasts. "I made it that way." While Gobby focuses on Reptil, Spidey thwips webs at T-Rex 3000 tail. Maybe he can stop it. Unfortunately, Gobby has other ideas. He quickly raises the dino's tail, sending Spidey soaring through the air. Spidey twists and turns and lands on a nearby tree. He sees the squirrel and tells the little critter to run to safety. Suddenly, Spidey's spider sense starts tingling. Gobby bashes the dino's tail into the tree. Spidey and the squirrel leap away just in time. But the squirrel drops its prize peanut in the process. The squirrel lands on the back T-Rex 3000, while the peanut comes to rest on its metal tail. The squirrel heads for the peanut on the tail. But the T-Rex 3000 rears up and roars at Reptil, causing the peanut to fall off and sending the squirrel flying. Whoosh! The squirrel falls straight into the dinosaur robot's mouth. The cute creature, unnoticed by Green Goblin, lands safely on some wires. Next, Gobby chases after Reptil. He swings the T-Rex 3000 tail. The tail misses Reptil but smashes open the zebra enclosure. "The zebras, they're frightened," says a worried Ms. Kamathi. "They're running into the park." The heroes have to round up the animals, and Reptil is already on it. "Go, Dinosaurio," Reptil says, and transforms into a pterodactyl. He flies off to help the zebras, while Spidey swings alongside him. While Green Goblin stomps off to see what else he can ruin, the zebras run onto a playground. Spidey says that he can thwip some webs to hold the zebras if Reptil can get them off the playground. But the zebras are so fast, Reptil knows something else that's fast a velociraptor. He turns into one and rounds up the zebras while Spidey thwips webs between some trees to make a zebra pen. The zebras follow Reptil into Spidey's web pen, where they will be safe. Now it's up to Spidey and Reptil to track down Gobby. Where is Gobby anyway? He's busy stomping through the city streets in his T-Rex 3000. "Let's see what else we can ruin," Gobby says. The little squirrel jumps on Gobby's head, surprising him. The squirrel races around Gobby, distracting the baddie. Gobby accidentally opens the control booth and falls out onto the street. The curious squirrel runs around the T-Rex 3000 control panel and closes the booth. "Get out of my robot," Gobby cries as the squirrel presses more buttons. Without knowing it, the squirrel activates the robot's targeting system. Now the T-Rex 3000 is chasing Gobby. Spidey and Reptil arrive on the scene and see the T-Rex 3000 chasing after Gobby. They wonder who's controlling the robot. Even if he is a baddie, Gobby needs help. Reptil, in his pterodactyl form, swoops in to distract the robot. Then Spidey thwips a web and pulls Gobby to safety on a rooftop. But the squirrel keeps pressing buttons and activates the T-Rex 3000 super bouncy foot springs. The dinosaur leaps into the air and lands on the roof next to Gobby. Gobby tries to run, but the T-Rex 3000 bats him with its tail. Swoosh! Gobby sails into the sky, but Reptil is there to catch him. They meet Spidey on another rooftop, but the T-Rex 3000 keeps jumping and catching up to them. Reptil looks at the robot and says it keeps chasing Gobby everywhere. The heroes and Gobby duck down in between two buildings, where the T-Rex 3000 can't see them. "What is going on with your robot, Gobby?" Spidey asks. Gobby reveals that a squirrel is controlling the robot. He says that the squirrel attacked him inside the T-Rex 3000. Spidey thinks it might be the same squirrel from the zoo. It probably fell inside the robot when Gobby was smashing stuff. Now the heroes have a new mission. In addition to stopping the robot, they need to save that squirrel. "Save me from that thing," Gobby shouts, running away from the robot. Reptil swoops in to rescue Gobby, and the robot smashes open a fire hydrant. Water sprays out, and the robot sparks. "That water just messed up your robot," Reptil says. "We really need to get that squirrel out of there," he adds. The glitching robot leaps and stomps through the city, with the poor squirrel stuck inside. Spidey asks Gobby if the T-Rex 3000 has a shutoff switch. But Gobby isn't there. He's trying to escape. As the robot rampages through an amusement park, it spots Gobby. Stomp, stomp. It's after him again. "Someone save me from my dinosaur," Gobby hollers as he runs out onto a pier. Spidey and Reptil arrive to rescue Gobby once more. This time Reptil thinks he knows how to stop the robot for good. He transforms into a huge Tyrannosaurus Rex. Reptil and the robot bash heads while Spidey thwips webs to trap the robot. Now they have to lure the squirrel out of the robot. But how? Spidey spies a nearby peanut vendor and gets an idea. The peanut vendor gives Spidey a peanut, and he dangles it on a web in front of the animal. When the robot roars, the squirrel comes out of its mouth, takes the peanut, and runs away. Reptil tries to stop the out-of-control robot, but it knocks him aside. The robot chases Gobby to the end of the pier. He's surrounded by water with nowhere else to run. Remembering that water caused the robot to glitch, Spidey thwips a web. The robot trips over it and falls into the water. Splash! The robot hits the water and finally shuts down. "Good riddance," Gobby says, walking away from the robot. Just then, the little squirrel leaps onto the railing at the edge of the pier, startling Gobby. The baddie runs off as Reptil says, "I hope Gobby learned his lesson." Yep, Spidey says. No matter what, never get a squirrel mad at you.